You want a long version or a short version? I was what's called a recreation officer. I wasn't an officer. I was a chief. I was in charge of recreation. We did not have a washer and dryer on the first submarine. So we figured out if we took all the fancy stuff off, we could get the washer and dryer aboard. So I went to Sears and asked him, could I buy a washer and dryer from him? I'll explain like I did here, without all this fancy stuff around. So he sold it to me. As a matter of fact, he came back and said, we can use that for an advertisement, you can have it, which we did. They did and we did. But the Sears washer and dryer worked at the North Pole. So anyway, it was August, and I went to get the washer and dryer. We were in the yards, we was getting ready to go to the North Pole. And he wasn't available, he was in a meeting. So I sat outside the meeting waiting for him. When he come out, he was in a Santa Claus suit. I said, golly, I said, I'm sure early he started doing Santa Claus. He said, well, we're getting prepped up for it. I had a staff meeting. And I'm showing him the new Santa Claus suit we got. And he had the old one in his hand. I said, what are you going to do with that? He said, give it to somebody to throw it away. I said, I'd like it. He gave it to me. So you know the room you were in with the periscope? That's called the control room. And all those lights are either green, red, or amber. Green is open, red is shut, and amber is being operated. So in order to dive, everything better be green, red. We call it Christmas tree. Christmas tree red, that means everything's shut, you can dive. If something's green, you'll flood. So if you open anything to a sea or a hatch, you get a green light. So I told the captain I had this suit, and I wanted Mother Eaton, who was the cook, to wear it. He was kind of heavy. And we were going to surprise the crew at the North Pole. So when we got to the North Pole, Captain said, okay, only he and I and Mother Eaton knew about it. So Mother Eaton came back there, put on the suit, after that to the torpedo room. I chased everybody out but him. Captain, on the phone we had, you dial 1 for torpedo room, 4, 2 for battery, 3 for kitchen. So I had 3 rings, 1, 2, 3. Captain rang and he was standing in front of the red and green light. I opened the hatch, nobody knew it. Santa Claus went up, I shut the hatch, come down and rang back 3 times, Captain. He walked away, nobody saw the light. It opened and went shut.
So you got him off, nobody
knew. He was
knew
up on deck with nobody around. Ice is all over. And so the captain said, where's Ensign, whatever his name, Sullivan? Where's Ensign Sullivan? Because he was the newest officer on board, first trip. And he says, this is your first trip, Ensign. I'll let you look at the periscope first. Make a 360-degree sweep. Tell me what you see. Ensign got out and started sweeping around. All of a sudden he came to Santa Claus. Standing in the back window, he goes, Well, Life magazine had a helicopter up there because they knew we were going to do it, and they were picturing it. They took a picture of it. So it's in the museum. So I took, all of us went up to New London from Candy's house in Virginia. We went through the museum, and my grandson was about 8 years old then. He has Asperger's, and he's very smart, but he has no social skills at all. At all. And so he was there, and I explained what the story was. So they put the museum, part of the museum, on a big truck, toured the country in 2005 for enlistment advertising, get the enlistments up. They stopped in Seattle, where my Christopher lived in. He and I went over to the museum. And about 5 people there, and they said, look at there, there's Santa Claus on the submarine. He said, that's not Santa Claus, that's Mother Eaton. My grandpa made that suit and put it on him.
It was in the National Geographic magazine that they found.
Yeah.
The Santa Claus story was. Yeah.
Well, she found it, her son, he found it.
Yeah, Christopher found it at.
They closed the library out, or was cleaning it up and sold old magazines. It was in 1959, wasn't it? 50,
Yeah.
There was an article in National Geographic about the trip, which I had seen, but I never had a copy. She sent me.
And it talks about the Santa Claus
It's
suit in
in
there.
one of those books over there.
Oh yeah? Oh yeah, it's in here. I haven't made it there yet. I wasn't sure if that story was true growing up, Bruce, but I read it in the National Geographic.
Bruce.